Offsiders, welcome to another episode of Offside Talk. I'm your host, Emin. I'm with Fatih as always.
Hello.
And Umad.
How are we?
We got some exciting news about football this week. Things seem to be going back into order, hopefully, fingers crossed. Fatih's got the details with us, so Fatih, you want to run us through what's going on?
All right, boys. Now, we are an off-football orientated podcast. One of the major leagues have been given the green light, so it might kickstart our little football adventure back to normal. So the Bundesliga has been cleared to start as of May 16th. They have received government approval. The Chancellor herself has stated that the players don't need to be quarantined or anything like that because the club is constantly providing the necessary treatments and all that type of stuff. So that's all good. Now, the aim for them is to finish within a month and a week. So June 27th is what they're aiming to finish the league off. Mm-hmm. This might fall into a bit of help for UEFA because UEFA is trying to finish the Champions League and the Europa League as well. In my opinion, if they go ahead with all this stuff, it puts the German league in more of a prime position for Champions League because the players are going to be having a bit more experience, a bit more fitness related positivity, group, everything is just going to work all
and
in their
full
favour.
Focus on the Champions League because their domestic league would be completed.
That's right. Now, one thing that I'll run past you guys is, now we know the Bundesliga is very atmosphere-orientated league. We know that Bayern Munich lose their minds at the games. We know Borussia Dortmund absolutely lose their mind with their yellow wall, and we've seen videos of the concrete going up and down at certain games in the Bundesliga. Do you guys reckon that the spectators will play? Not having any spectators will play a massive part in finishing off the league, and how do you think it would happen? Like, how do you think the players will go with no spectators at all? I'll start with you, Ems.
Oh, look, definitely it's going to have an impact on the players. A game without spectators almost turns into a training game, as we've seen in the past. So these teams who are driven by their fans, who look to their fans for the support in especially in weeks that is going to determine where you finish in the league. It's definitely going to impact that. It's going to have an impact on us as viewers and as fans watching these games in complete silence. But does it disadvantage anyone? Not really, because both teams don't have fans. Everyone's playing under the same conditions. I think the biggest impact is going to be on us as spectators, as I said, watching almost a training game on our TV screens.
Holmes?
Yeah, as a spectator, it's not going to be the same, but at least some football is better than no football.
True.
Look, at the end of the day, obviously without fans, there is no football. That being said, it's business as usual. They're lucky that they didn't cancel the league like idiots in France.
True. That is very, very true.
And every player wants to play football, and they can look past the spectators. Yeah, they do help, but we are in the circumstance, and you just get a cop on the chin and play football, and that's what everyone wants to do. So
both of you going with the just move forward and play the games as they are. Look, in my opinion, I think the spectators will play a slight part, especially in times when if your team is down, you know how you need that general push to come back up. But like Omar said, it's business as usual. I think it's what it is, unfortunately. If you want to play football, these are the guidelines. You just move on with it, unfortunately.
It's the safest way to do it. I mean, my biggest concern is you're saying they want to wrap up the league within a month. But what are there, like 9 fixtures there, Fats?
9 fixtures. Keep in mind that there will be 2 weeks where there is midweek games because certain clubs do need to catch up on some of their games.
Yeah. Werder Bremen and
Eintracht Frankfurt. I'm not too sure if I said the first part correctly. This could also play into the fact that the league organisers are thinking or possibly considering having 5 substitutes rather than the usual 3. Given the circumstances, I personally think that's a positive thing.
No, that's fair.
What do you guys reckon about just having 5 substitutes than your usual 3? I think they're trying to more target the fitnesses of the players and to make sure everyone's a bit fresh for the remaining fixtures.
Oh, definitely. Look, it's fair. For teams like Dortmund and Bayern Munich, it's not unordinary to be playing so many games in a week. But of course, you do that sort of like mid-season-ish when your players are at prime fitness. You know, you've had a few games under your belt, but to go from 0 to 100 straight away, especially for teams that are, you know, not as strong in that league, I think it's fair to give them 5 substitutions, and it might even improve the quality of games we get to see in the end of the season.
Hobes?
Yeah, look, like I said, it's fair. Pretty much what Emin said. Considering the circumstances that we're all in, obviously the players would have done some sort of fitness to, obviously to keep themselves going. The 5 subs is, I've got no complaints with that. 100% on board with 5 subs.
I personally think as well it's a positive thing. It's good that
they're smart. They know what they're doing.
If they go ahead with it, it's clearly showing that they are on the side of the players where they want the players to be rotated and as much fitness as possible to get the most, not only just entertainment value, but you want your best team forward regardless, whether you're playing Bundesliga or whether they end up going into the Champions League and resuming the Champions League. You want your best players to the best of your degree.
Of course.
And this, like I said, this does put them in prime position for Champions League, because if the team's already in full fitness, if the team's already gelled up back to normal, while other leagues are catching up, and then UEFA goes, bam, we're bringing the Champions League back. It gives the rest of the leagues a bit of a catch-up, while Bundesliga teams will probably be already there. Yeah. And it helps teams like RB Leipzig, who's already in the next round, where they don't have that game to play.
Yeah.
I'll probably put Bayern Munich in that same category, considering they're 3-0 up in their first leg as well against Chelsea. But, yeah, look, it's definitely a positive step forward for all football. It's definitely a positive thing for the Germans as well. But we're just going to have to wait and see how this works out, where, look, we know in some sporting events that they are starting, like we have an example of the UFC starting this weekend, and we're going to see firsthand how a no-atmosphere main event's going to be. We're going to see the exactly same fixture, or same circumstance, I should say, regarding from a football perspective.
I think the UFC is a little bit more tolerable to not having fans though than football is, to be fair. But you also need to consider, I mean, not only are these teams going to have to play Champions League, but it's going to be a short preseason as well. So you don't want half your club on injury because they've played too many games in a week, starting off a new fresh season whenever the decision is made to start the new season. So smart move, I think, by the German football.
By the German football teams.
Yeah.
Look, just touching base on that, look, I think that the way that it's going to be is, I think the preseason will still be not shorter, but I don't think it's going to be as long as what's going to be, because I believe the intention is to get rid of international friendlies as much as possible, which will leave that.
They should can it all.
I personally think they should can it. Unless, look, we know Euros has been pushed back. We know that their World Cup qualifications are supposed to be starting and all that types of stuff. But this is the part where you got to go, okay, do I burn all the players out? Like, as soon as the next season starts, you're going to be trying to fit in international friendlies, so players are ready for Euros. You're trying to fit in World Cup qualification if that's their aim to start it. Then you still got your normal league. Then you got your domestic cups. Then you got champion. Like,
you have to push everything back.
You're gonna absolutely kill your players.
And all things aside, if you're thinking about the safety of the players, I mean, if coronavirus was the reason why he stopped all these leagues in the first place, to bring international fixtures, you're talking about traveling to international countries. If this is still a threat, then you're only endangering your players more and probably endangering the league stopping again.
That's true. That is true. But look, we're just going to have to see how the first week of Bundesliga goes, and we'll just have to go from there. Now, just a brief catch-up on the way the rest of the leagues are currently progressing at the moment. So we'll start off with in my opinion, the main league itself, the Premier League. So the Premier League at the moment is starting to train in small groups as of May 18th. Now, whether, I believe there was not rumours, but there's reports coming from teams like such as Liverpool.
Was the restart rejected? I read somewhere that the restart got rejected.
The aim is, because the next meeting is on Monday, this coming Monday now, I believe they're going to wait on the UK government trying to give an update on the lockdown, and then they're going to go leading into that meeting. So I think we'll get more information come next week. Yeah. Now, there is reports that some of the teams have already started. We've seen Tottenham players getting flagged because they're walking too close to each other and stuff like that. But some clubs, I was reading today, that example was such as Liverpool, where they were allocating slots for 3 to 4 players at a time to go training. I think that's more of a fitness thing rather than trying to do drills or, trying to set up game plans and stuff like that. I think it's just more trying to work on the players' fitnesses. Look, I know on paper at the moment, UK is not the greatest from a coronavirus perspective. It's going to depend on what happens with this government, because I think the Premier League wants to go ahead. I know they want to meet their guidelines. They want to be able to compete in the Champions League when UEFA goes forward with it. But yeah, I think it's just they're just on shackles at the moment. They're just waiting for that government to just go, you know what, it is what it is, but we're giving an exemption, sort of the way that the Chancellor of Germany stated herself, where because the clubs are taking such an initiative, they're sort of exempt from what the rest of the country is at the moment.
I'm just going to stop you there, Fats. Just something that's popped into my head. I mean, of course, you've got the players and the clubs are obviously keeping a tight eye on them. But you've got also the press and the media who's involved in these games heavily. So is there a body, do you think, that's constantly checking up on them to make sure that they're all clear to be attending these games?
Well, it is because football is a very there's so many different factors to this. Not only do you have media, you have your own staff, you have your own people that's going to come into from every different aspect. You know what I mean? Whether it's people that supply food, whether it's people that supply, your kits, etc., etc. There's so many different aspects to this whole sport. Now, again, I'm going to touch base on probably the only sport that's happening properly this weekend is the UFC. Now, I've seen the way that they've been handling their media. The media have been showing up earlier than expected to go through their own tests, to go through their own swabs and all that type of stuff ahead of time, so that anyone that's cleared to come into this event is already there and tested. Mm-hmm. Whether the Premier League takes a similar step on that's going to be up to them. Now, again, the UFC only caters for 5-6, within a team. You got your fighter, you got 4 or 5 different staff.
It's not hard to...
Exactly. It's not that hard to
manage. Yeah, it's a lot easier to manage.
Correct. Now, with football, you got... 11 players on the field, plus you got your substitutes, plus you got the coach, you got your
medical team, you got your trainers, you got your water
going.
bottle boys.
Yeah, we'll keep going.
Exactly. So whether these guys have a plan in place for all these types of stuff, I think they're just waiting for that meeting on Monday to go forward with whatever they're going to plan.
Well, hopefully next week when we're on our podcast, we're talking about the EPL starting back up, and
hopefully.
Let's hope so.
Yeah, pretty much, because we don't want to... Now, I know it does benefit you guys if their season ends and they award Liverpool the championship, but...
It does, but then it opens a whole new can of worms, like who gets promoted, who gets demoted, like, you know what I mean? Like...
It does, and they need to go through with that. Now, like you just said, example about who's getting promoted, who's getting demoted. Now, touching base on the League One, who's just been finished now, PSG got crowned champions. It was Kylian Mbappe.
Yeah, he got awarded the Golden Boot.
The Golden Boot, so because he was at the top of the ranking. Now, but there's reports coming out that Lyon's going to be suing or possibly claiming damages because they've missed out on European qualification.
And look what this has caused.
Exactly, and this is what Emin was touching base on, which is because you make a decision so early in the season,
idiots,
it's going to push a lot of teams in, not only in relegation, but European qualification now. What about even domestic cups where... Like example, where the Premier League, where the FA Cup winners or the League Cup winners are granted certain European qualifications. Well, who's going to get that? I know the League Cup's over, but you still got the FA Cup still in progress. So I agree. Hopefully the Premier League does come up and it doesn't end up like the League One.
The bright side for League One is that all these clubs are going to be getting free Uber Eats this season. So look, there's something to look forward to.
Yes, the Uber Eats League One is going to be progressing.
Well, that's just in... That's just in itself. You've got Uber Eats, donkeys, and they've cancelled the league. Like, say, Bundesliga is going to go ahead. Who else is cancelled? The Dutch league's cancelled. So is the Belgian league. So you've got 3 leagues that's already pulled the plug. Let's just say everyone else goes ahead. What happens with... You're talking about the teams that... Okay, you got PSG. Is it top 4 for them? Is it in France? I can't remember.
I believe it's top 3 off the top of my head.
So any European football, who goes there? So I'm assuming they're just going to add... Okay, PSG goes to Champions League because they've awarded the title. And was it... So I don't know who's second.
Whoever's second and third, I think will be going
in.
They're just going in. That's just what it is. And then I think whoever's
So
finished...
there's not going to be relegation with those teams.
No, I believe whoever at the moment is whoever's in the relegation spots is done and dusted, and whoever's top three or whatever the League One requirements are for the second part of the second division down from the League One or League Two, I think. They're just coming up, man.
What's a fucking joke?
This is where the
It's a
problem.
joke.
But this is where the problem was, which is what the Premier League was arguing about. What the Premier League teams were arguing about, as in some teams have the capabilities of coming out of relegation. Some people don't. In some leagues, some people don't. But now you got 3 teams who aren't relegated, and you got 3 teams who haven't secured Champions League spots either. Because look, as much as Chelsea's in 4th spot at the moment, I would say that just before the virus kicked in, we weren't in the best of forms. That position was a very vulnerable position at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got teams like Manchester United, Tottenham, and even like Sheffield United, who are working their way up to Europa Leagues and potential Champions League spots. They're going to be missing out.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion, I'd rather finish the league off and saying, you know what?
They all should have done that.
It is what it
I don't
is.
know what the rush is anyway. I mean, time is what you have right now. I know that, UEFA's going to be putting pressure on leagues and blah, blah. They want to get the Champions League started. But you finish your league off. Like you said, you get rid of, international friendlies and stuff like that in the following season. The international friendly takes almost 10 days out of a season, like each time it happens. So you play 2 games in those. You're catching up with the league anyway.
I think a lot of the pressure is coming from UEFA. They really want to finish off this Champions League and this whole Europa League situation. And unfortunately, they are the European body. They run the show. If they're telling you Champions League is starting, giving it just a rough example, say June 1st, man, if you're in the Champions League, you're reporting for duty. Simple as that, whether you like it or not.
So can't have a swinge and say, oh, well, our league got cancelled. They can't, if they were to get knocked out for whatever reason, they can't sook and whinge and say, oh, well, our comp's been cancelled. We didn't have enough preparation time, yada, yada, yada.
It's what it is. Simple
It's
as
not
that.
like they're going to win Champions League anyway.
Oh, I highly doubt it, but
There's so many different little factors.
like, yeah, it just irritates me. Why cancel the fucking league?
I don't understand why UEFA as a body would put pressure. Look, I understand that they want to get stuff started, but all you're doing is creating chaos across the football world.
Well, especially when comps have been cancelled.
That's what I mean. If you're putting on pressure,
pressure,
and it doesn't make sense that there's like this. I don't know. The French league cancels, but the German league wants to go on. Like obviously, the French league would have had time to finish theirs as well. If it's them putting the pressure on, if it's UEFA putting the pressure on.
To be honest, they should have all been given an ultimatum. You either all play, or you cancel it, and just leave it as it is. You can't just have certain leagues cancelled, the others play on. They should have all just played on. Like UEFA should have stepped in and said, we need to think about who goes like a current Champions League, Europa League season, and next season ahead. You've got like who's going to make what? Like it's not going to be fair for the teams that for the leagues that have cancelled, and when there's potential, like if for example, like in Belgium League or whatever, if there was a potential like a lower grade team to make it in Europe, but they can't because it got cancelled and they missed out, which is stupid. And then you got what's the name in Dutch league? They were saying Ajax was they were cost of the title because it was cancelled. No, they fucking weren't. 56 points with Al Akmar.
Were they on level?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
So you got all these stupid headlines. Like, dude, come on.
Yeah, the media is dying to make to make
donkeys.
some stories. So everyone's in a horrible place right now.
Unfortunately, look, the biggest problem about that is the UEFA can't tell leagues what to do. They are the European body. They can only tell them about the Champions League and the Europa League. They can give advice, but at the end of the day, it's up to the Premier League or the nation's football association to make their own decision.
Yeah. Well, they've got a big task for next season. Who makes and who doesn't?
Well, I think everyone's just gonna it's just gonna cop it on the butt. Unfortunately, it's just what it is. The teams have done that. Now, moving on to Serie A. Now, the Italian government has given the green light for Serie A players to resume individual training. So at their own club grounds and all that type of stuff, that's all more than go for gold from May 18th onwards. Now, all the 20 teams have gotten together and they said, we want to finish the league. So as much as what we've just been discussing, they said, we want to finish the league off. And to be honest, it's it's the right thing to do. Now, they're in a sort of similar situation to what England is at the moment. A lot of the teams want to finish off the league. Whoever gets relegated, whoever wins promotion, etc., we decide because we play the games out, but they're waiting on government approval as well. So, unfortunately, Italy and the Premier League, they're both in the same boat at the moment. Now, La Liga, on the other hand, the professional football players in Spain, like, they can return to their training camps for individual sessions as well. That was starting this week. They're still trying to figure out a rough return date, but it seems that they're more past the government regulation at the moment. They are high in the death rate in Europe, but I think it's sort of falling onto what the Bundesliga said as well, which is if the right regulations, the right methods are being taken, why not start the league? So I think that's where it's sort of the La Liga. So yeah, the La Liga is going into sort of that direction. Now, with that keeping in mind, that is the big five. I believe Turkey's trying to go back on track as well.
Mid-June start, they're saying.
Didn't they come up with a date?
Yeah, 13. They said 12, 13 or 14 of June, so they're heading for a mid-June start. We're hoping for
not
it.
long.
Well, to be honest, it just seems that everyone... See, now, look, we're talking about some leagues starting, some leagues not starting. Now, Turkey, on the other hand, isn't that affected with when they finish, considering, Champions League and Europa League. Majority of the teams aren't in there.
There's only one, I think. I think there's only Başak in there.
Yeah.
In the Europa League, that's right. But with the big four, they don't have the big five, I should say. They don't have much of a choice, considering majority of the teams are still in the Champions League.
That's right.
I think we'll have a better understanding what's going to happen on the next podcast, because with a lot of meetings happening in the big countries, that we're going to be finding out if certain teams will be going forward. The good thing is next week we can possibly discuss the Bundesliga.
Some pre-games, yeah.
We can discuss some Bundesliga.
And what form we go off with, 6 weeks of no football or whatever, I don't know, but we'll work something out.
There is no form at the moment. But look, just judging by their league, it is still close at the top. You got Bayern that's ahead by 4 points, ahead of Dortmund. RB Leipzig right on their asses as well. It's like Omer said at the beginning, it's better than nothing, man. It's football at the end of the day, and it gives us something to watch.
I'd rather watch football without spectators, not watch no football.
That's true.
And just play with myself.
But yeah, that pretty much runs off where the current situation regarding the coronavirus and the holding the football up. But a lot more positive news than when we started 3-4 months ago. So with the Bundesliga back on, I don't mind seeing Lewandowski scoring 5-6 more goals here and there. I don't think form affects that guy, so we're going to have to wait and see. We're going to have to wait and see. Yeah, that sums it up. Holmes, I believe you've prepared a little bit of a
Premier League trivia
for me and Em. We're going to go head-to-head again, Ems. So
Not excited.
But yeah, let's get straight into it.
All right, so we're back to my segment, Premier League quiz. So we've got 10 questions. This is all past and present players. There is a bonus round at the end in the last question. If you guys can get the follow-up question, it's 4 points. And let's see how you ladies go. Again.
Let's go.
Good luck, bro.
I don't need it.
You don't need it.
I'll get cocky.
I need it.
There's 10-0. All right, let's go, boys.
All right, so with question number 1.
C.
Pele.
Which player with 653 games has made the most Premier League appearances? You've got A. Frank Lampard, B. Paul Scholes, C. Steven Gerrard, or D. Gareth
Lampard.
Barry?
D.
What did you say?
Lampard.
D. Well, it's Gareth Barry, sir. So that is 2-0 to Faith Man.
I answered before I heard D.
You need to let the questions finish,
Yeah,
mate.
I know.
It's all about the Rona.
Alright, so question number 2. Which player scored the fastest hat-trick in the Premier League? You've got Robert Pires, Dwight York, Ian Marshall, or Sadio Mane?
D.
Well, I can't choose that now.
Oh, what did I say?
Fastest hat-trick?
You know, like... Okay, so you've got A. Robert Pires, Dwight York, Sadio Mane, or Ian Marshall?
C. Can't even read.
A. He chose C, bro. I can't choose it. So
That's Sadio Mane.
Yeah, boy. Scored in like 8 minutes or something.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. For Southampton
It's
too.
not even, for like 5
He was
minutes.
at Southampton when he did that.
Yeah.
And that's why we bought him. Alright, number 3, ladies. 3 players share the record of the most Premier League red cards. 8. Who are they? A. Patrick Vieira, Richard Dunn, Duncan Ferguson. B. Vidic, Ferdinand Company. C. Terry, Harry Maguire Robertson. D. Yaya Toure, Carvalho or Skirtle.
B.
A.
It's an A, B.
Yeah.
Fatih with the 2 points again.
Yeah, boys.
Jesus, man. You gotta do a bit of homework.
Yeah, you gotta do a bit of homework on a topic you don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey. It is what it is, bruv. Okay, so we'll get number 4. Yeah, this should be an easy one. this is an easy one. So I'm pretty sure we've touched this question before. So with 260 goals, who was the Premier League's all-time top scorer? Thierry Henry,
We're just waiting.
Alan Shearer, Shane Long, or Didier Drogba?
B.
What? B.
But you should know this as well.
I do, but he's answered first, so what's the point?
You should have been already on the ball to already answer that because you have to get there first.
Yeah, well, give the points to Fatih.
Far out. Emin. Alright, so at number 5. Against which team did Wayne Rooney score his Premier League first goal? Was it against Aston Villa,
I'll let you have this one.
Everton,
I don't know it.
Arsenal, or Manchester United? Who did he score his first Premier League
Was
goal
the first one
against?
Aston Villa?
Yeah, so you got Aston Villa, Everton, Arsenal, or Manchester United?
I'm gonna go A.
Arsenal.
I don't know whether it's laugh or cry. It's Arsenal.
I don't know. I was actually tossing up between Arsenal and
He
Aston
scored a
Villa.
cracker at that game.
Yeah, I remember that one. It was good. Oh, alright.
I'm gonna close my
Number-
eyes and guess
number
the next
six.
one.
Alright, so question 6. Which team won the first Premier League title? Was it A, Liverpool, B, Nottingham Forest, C, Manchester United, or D, Arsenal?
B.
United won it.
Say B?
Yeah.
Fatih with the 2 points again.
Yay!
I just want to give you a 1 just because I feel
I want to
sorry
end
for
zero.
Why?
I want to
you.
end
I'm
zero.
not, obviously I'm not.
I'm trying my best.
I'm gonna get the bonus and win.
So you'll know this question and you should know this or as well.
Yeah, it's
So I want you to be on the ball this time. So number 7, question number 7. With 202 clean sheets, which goalkeeper has the best record in the Premier League?
I know this one.
Brad Friedel, Petr Cech, Peter Schmeichel, or David Seaman?
Check.
All right, so Emin finally with the 2 points.
Yay! This is the
Don't-
comeback tour.
Why didn't you answer it?
He gave it to me.
I said I'd let him have it.
Bro, that is
He wanted to finish with 0. I didn't allow it.
Yeah. I was hoping he got him before me.
Fucking stop, pricks. All right, now number 8. How many clubs competed in the inaugural Premier League season?
The what?
Inaugural
First.
Premier League season, the
Okay.
first one. So when it was
Yeah.
officially called Premier League. Was it 20, 18, 22, or 24?
C.
I'm gonna go with 24.
You said C,
C.
and you said 24.
Yeah.
Fatih, again, with the 2 points. It was 22.
I know it was, but he's already guessed it. So what's the point of going C again?
You guessed first.
Did I? Oh.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
You said 24. Oh,
Uh,
this is...
Depressing.
Yeah, it is actually. I'm not going to lie. You got question number 9. Who was the first English manager to win the Premier League Manager of the Year? Was it Alex Ferguson, Harry Redknapp, Roy Hodgson, or Mick McCarthy?
C.
What did you say?
Alex Ferguson.
No, what was the question?
Who was the first English manager to win the Premier League Manager of the Year? The first English manager.
What was the ABCD?
Alex Ferguson, Harry Redknapp, Roy Hodgson, or Mick McCarthy?
What did you say?
I said C.
Only a B.
C and B?
Yeah.
42 points.
Yeah, it was Harry Redknapp.
He's just been coaching a lot longer.
Okay. I really should go back, to be honest. But he's probably over it.
He's like 148 years old. He's going to die soon.
So Arsene Wenger was older than him.
And he's retired.
That's good. He got pushed out.
He's retired.
So we've got number 10, which is
the bonus.
The bonus.
Yeah, the bonus.
round. All right. So the fastest goal scored in the Premier League history came in 7.69 seconds. Who scored it? And you get 2 points for that. And you get another 2 points if you can guess the season that it was scored in. I'll give you a bit of a leniency.
I just want to
Alright.
struggle with this.
Tell me the
I
answer.
genuinely don't know.
What? Tell you that. do you want me to repeat the question? Or you got?
No.
I got the question.
All right. So you've got A. Shane Long, B. Eric Cantona, C. Fernando Torres, or D. Eden Hazard.
B.
Fastest goal ever in a Premier League. And what were the choices?
You got Shane Long, Eric Cantona, Fernando Torres, or Eden Hazard.
I genuinely don't know, so I'm gonna go A. I can't see Hazard scoring the fastest goal.
I have a feeling it was Torres.
I don't remember Torres scoring that fast of a goal. I'm gonna go A.
I said B already. Cantona.
Could be Cantona.
All right. So
We're both wrong.
You're both wrong. It was Alex Ferguson.
it was Shane Long.
Oh.
So if you want 4 points, what season was that in?
Fuck Shane Long.
It was for Southampton.
Oh yeah, that drop kick. Fuck, you annoyed me when they scored against us. What season was that in? 7 seconds. Shane Long, Southampton. Southampton's recently promoted.
They've been it for a while.
Yeah, but they were on and off. I'm gonna say
Do you want me to give you like a?
A
Do
decade.
you want to reduce it?
no.
As in,
Is it in the 2000s?
yeah.
Just give me that. Okay.
Well, year 2000, yeah.
No, like the 2000 era, not the 90s era.
No.
Okay.
But Shane Long's
I don't know. I don't know how old he is.
He's not
I know
old.
what his face looks like. I don't know his fucking birth type.
I'm pretty sure it's a gap tooth.
I'm gonna guess 0910. Bullshit. Oh, damn. I'm not happy.
No, it was 18-19 season. He scored that.
How the fuck do you score a fast goal like that?
Well,
Who
how
scored
can
against?
Sugar She scored the world's fastest goal, still holds it. Oh, fuck, I can't remember. Oh, Watford.
Oh, okay.
He scored against Watford.
It was close.
So,
Sorry, bro. Can you? is
so
it-
it's a. I mean, let me just count yours.
You should-
too.
you should demand a recount.
So
I reckon
it is.
you missed out on some points from me there. I reckon a couple of
So
those.
18 points to Fatih and a whopping 2 points for Emin. And Emin, back to the drawing board for you, sir. That wraps up my Premier League quiz for this evening. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do I get a trophy or anything like that?
Oh, you
bro?
can suck me off. How about that?
Ooh, I'm gonna be winning every week now.
That's a very small prize, man.
Hey, it's all I've got.
Nah, thank you very much, James.
And that's a wrap from us at Offside Talk, guys. As always, our social media links can be found down here. Remember to like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and to subscribe to us on YouTube. You can also reach out to us on our social media. If we've made any mistakes, if you have anything to add to the discussions that we've had tonight. And as always, stay offside.